What up guys, in today's video we're going to be reacting to Dan Pena, who is a self-proclaimed trillion-dollar man. He's also a high-performance executive business success coach according to his Instagram profile. Wow, that's a mouthful. And I believe he runs masterminds for performance for entrepreneurs and things like that. His net worth is in the region, from what I have read from the money he's made in the oil industry, it's in the region of 500 million to $1 billion. So heavy hitter when it comes to earning money. And let me just tell you, this guy tells it like it is. He takes that shock and awe tactic to the extreme. So there is a lot of swearing in this video. If you guys get, triggered or turned off by that, just be aware, all right? There's also a snowflake test that he has on his website where he judges if you're a snowflake. And I do that test at the end if you guys are interested in seeing if Dan thinks I'm a snowflake. But let's react to one of the most viral clips on his YouTube Shorts and see exactly what Dan has got to say and why this clip is so viral.
Give a f if your mother died in your arms. Where the we can be I'm serious. I'm shit. We've had guys, their wife is giving birth. As God is my witness. He's a doctor, Dr. Joe. Push, honey. Oh, yeah, Dan, I got push, honey, push. I don't get it. Nobody, don't you understand? Nobody cares about all the trials and tribulations of week lives.
Oh my
don't
God.
You understand that? What the do I have to do here? You
All right, so first of all, before I start covering the psychology, the tactics that he's using, I don't know if Dan here is putting this on for social media to help himself go viral. I've got a feeling he is a little bit, but if he isn't, and that's how he is, if you ever come across somebody like this in your work, in your business, don't do business with them, don't work for them either, because they do not care about you. They care about themselves and they care about getting things done, and they are willing to sacrifice your health for that. So just think about if it was flipped as well. You needn't go and spend all your time trying to please a person like this. Let's read some of the comments to see if we can work out what's going on with this clip. So if corporate America was a person, just remember when you're sacrificing 12 hours a day and missing out in your family, this is who you're missing those memories for. Yeah, correct. Bro is like every math teacher ever. Your boss will never remember all the times you work late, but your family will. He's wrong, he's vile. If your boss is remotely like this, leave. Right, so we can see that the comment section is mainly disgusted about his message that he's given across there. And what is his message? His message is that nobody cares about the trials and tribulations of your life. You still have to get through it, which basically is kind of true, when you go through difficult periods in your life. No one really cares, right? You still have to crack on. But he's given it in this extreme shock and awe way. He's swearing at his audience. He's insulting people. And he's doing it, I think, most likely to just get that attention, right? So it's very hard to capture attention in the modern world. And there's things in psychology called pattern breaks. And when you have a pattern break, it basically breaks the automated behavior that you're on. So if you're scrolling through Instagram, you're scrolling through YouTube, looking at the next thing, which is going to capture your attention. Now, there's so many things trying to capture your attention. There's some sort of way you've got to stand out. And people usually use strong hooks. If it's like Alex or Mosey or business, they're like, if you want to make $1 million in 30 days, blah, blah, it's a strong hook, right? But there's also another way to get attention, and that is a pattern break via shock and awe, which is what Dan is doing here. He's saying, I don't give a blah, 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 And what's happening is it's getting all these comments from people who are rightly disgusted in what he's saying, but their comments are actually adding to the reach that he's getting, because people are commenting saying this is a disgusting man. More people are seeing it. And from this huge group of people who are all commenting on his stuff, there's going to be a subset of people who go and then check out the rest of his content and start actually resonating with what he's saying, right? So it's a good strategy when it comes to getting attention and building your business. However, right, I am quite surprised this clip has went viral. It's got so many swear words in it. But I've tested this as well on my channel, where I leave swear words in and don't bleep them out. Like, YouTube just doesn't show the content to anyone. And like, I only say maybe 3 swear words in the space of 25 minutes. So I'm quite surprised this content has actually went viral here. That is the risk you run when you start, going too much in the shock and awe way. You basically get shadow banned or cancelled by the platforms. And I'm just looking on Dan's channel here, right? With his most popular clip is 1.2 million views. You can see I've watched a few of these to prepare for this video. 1.2 million views 9 years ago, right? So you'd say from that, he's got a big channel, 440,000 subscribers, videos have hit over 1 million views before, but now look at his videos, right? 1,000 views, 1.3K, 1.7K. They're reaching nowhere near the same height. So I'm thinking here, YouTube has picked up on the fact that this guy is swearing an awful lot because YouTube's a PG platform and it's censoring him now. It's shadow banning him because he has a huge audience, but not even 1% of his audience are seeing any of his videos. Okay, so that is the risk you run when you come to using shock and awe tactics. Here's another clip of Dan shutting down an interviewer in his typical ways.
What are you guys going to do when our ocean level rises?
Now you sit down. I'm going to answer you. I'm going to answer. Just shut up and sit down.
No way.
If the water on the planet is going to rise up 10 feet, that means the southern part of the United States is gone. England is gone. Most of Europe is gone. Most of Central America is gone. If global warming is for real and water rises 10 feet, this investment you made is all. Not one single investment prospectus written since this century has alluded to global warming.
It's very interesting, apart from it being pretty funny that he's just absolutely trampled on this person asking a question and they end up going from 0 to 100 really quickly. I assume he's just sat around like a business audience answering questions and they end up telling each other to F off and everything. But it's interesting how he handled that question because what he did something called minimizing. So he's talking about the investment that people are either making in properties, the investment that people are making when they're coming to listen to him as well. And he's saying the investment that you make now, if all this global warming is true, basically it doesn't matter anyway because half the world's gonna go underwater, right? And this is a good way of minimizing and taking people's pain off of the money that they've spent. So he does it very strategically there by minimizing the pain of spending money with him because it's not going to matter anyway. Very strategical, quick switch that he did when it comes to investing with him. And some of the comments here, I like his calm demeanor. He is so calm. He seems like a nice, chill man. But then you see those comments there where they're, you know, just taking the mick out of him. But then you've got other comments which says, I like him, straight to the point, blunt, but to the point. This guy is a legend, takes absolutely no shit. There's a certain group of people who watch content like this and it resonates with them, right? So I'm in my 30s now. And this content doesn't really resonate with me too much. But when I was in my early 20s and teens, that did resonate with me. I did like that kind of military style shouting. When I used to go to a boxing club when I was younger, that's how they used to act and treat you. They used to rip you constantly and shout at you. But that worked very well because I used to listen to them. It used to capture my attention. And then I used to be put in this position when I'm younger is that I don't want to disappoint these people because I know what the reaction's going to be like. So I would then listen to the people, follow their instructions more clearly, and do what they say because they have now appeared as an authority figure to me. So the authority bias in psychology is basically we listen to people who we view as experts, who we view as authority figures. And they've done lots of cool experiments on this where basically the compliance rate of people go up when they are being given instructions by an authority figure. So in this case, we've got someone screaming at you military sergeant style, and in our heads, we think back to tribal times and like we wouldn't really be being screamed at if the person wasn't an authority figure. So screaming at someone immediately asserts you as that authority figure. There's a lot of ways to do it. You could talk about like Alex Hormozi does. He talks about his accomplishments when it comes to setting his authority. When Tate does it, he talks about how you don't want to be part of the brokey group because he sees everything. He sees the matrix, right? And he doesn't want you to be part of the brokies. He wants you to be part of the ultra elite rich like him. And he slides this casual sentence into conversations and asserts his authority. And again, showing that accomplishment, but he does it in more of a blunt way. And then you got Dan Pena, who does it in military sergeant style way, you know, the person who screams at you and calls you an idiot if you don't do what they say or don't listen to them. It's an effective way of getting authority around. Also, as well, and this is a bit controversial, in relationships which is abusive as well, this is often how the abusive partner can assert themselves as an authority when it comes to, you know, communicating with the partner. They don't just communicate their problems, they whine, they scream, they get really angry and like show real disappointment in the person. It's a way that abusive people create that dynamic of an abusive relationship, but also create that attachment with the person, because then the other person doesn't want to disappoint them. They don't want to disappoint the authority figure. Just a side tangent there, but it's also interesting as well. Next, we're going to check out one of his clips from one of his actual masterminds to see if this persona of getting attention, establishing authority actually carries through to when he's delivering the service to clients, when he's actually got people sat in a room with him wanting to learn from him and they've paid him good money.
Instead of trying to be smart, I would just try to be stupid, shut that part off of my brain and just do it.
And what happens? He did it. And that's why it's hard for the YouTubers and all the other, because you can't dumb down. You will not believe that it's easy.
It's very interesting what he's commenting on here, and he's commenting on just following the process and don't do your own thinking when it comes to the process when you're following laid out steps as well. So this was an issue I had. I would take a course and like rather than following the directions that were in the course, I would kind of follow the directions and then add in my own bits for my own intuition and own understanding. But I'm going off the path, right? I'm going off the path which has been proven, and sometimes it doesn't need that. It just needs you to commit to the actual framework which is being laid out in front of you.
You know, you won't. But he put it very succinctly. He just dumbed down and shut off that part of his brain and just follow the steps. You don't need case studies. You have a template. You have a script that a monkey can read.
Here we go.
That Alex wants a case study because he wants to know the behind it because he's stupid. And that's why he's poor. You don't need any case studies. How many times do I have to say? You have the script. I said, don't change a word on the script. Not a comma. If it's got misspelled words, send it out misspelled. The last thing you need is a case study.
I'm excited to read the comments for this one. That went 0 to 100 real quick. This man cursed me right through the YouTube screen. I'm getting the feeling he doesn't like case studies. You could see in his eyes that very moment in the Rage exe file is loaded. 7 years later, I still feel bad for Alex. So that does seem to be what his personality is like, and he seemed to switch up real quick then when it came to answering that question. He was answering it just perfectly normal, right? And then suddenly something set him off and he just starts going mad at poor Alex in the room there, who they were actually initially agreeing with each other, and starts calling him stupid. Very, very interesting how he does that there. So he's speaking in a cool, calm demeanor. I don't know, I'm taking a shot in the dark here, but maybe he's modulating his message so people understand it who need the different ways of teaching. So he's starting off very cool, calm and collected, so the people in the room who respond to that, listen to him. And then he's suddenly going to 100 really quick, so the people in the room who are responsive to being shouted at actually can understand him and listen to him and pay attention to him. It's switching that up there is probably quite a good way of capturing everyone's attention. And if you look into the DISC assessment, the psychology, where it's made a video about it previously on my channel, where some people are red, some people are green, some people are blue. So that means basically some people are direct, respond to shouting, some people are very detail focused, some people are very feeling focused. A best way to persuade people and to actually communicate to people in a language they can understand is to work out what type of personality they are and then communicate to them in that personality, which might be a good example of what we have just watched him doing there. I'm just scrolling through his website here, and he's got all sorts of authority figures. He's got him stood with Brian Rose, I believe it is, from London Real, who got cancelled a few years ago. He's got him backing Trump, so staying up to date with the current trends. Him speaking at universities. He's got his ebook here. 348 million in deals in 1 year. Obviously one of his students here. So all these authority triggers which are getting you to click through on his website. He's also got a take the test section here, which is, it's got a success test, a snowflake test, and a super success test. Let's have a little look at his snowflake test. So here you go, guys. I'm excited about doing this. This is Dan Pena's snowflake test. Are you a weak snowflake? Are you raising snowflakes? Answer at your own peril. Let's find out if Dan thinks I'm a snowflake. I like to bet he does, because he's a little bit unhinged from what I've seen. Okay, first question. Stranger says your significant other has a big ass. You engage the stranger via dialogue, you immediately punch the person in the face, you start to talk shit and curse the stranger regardless of the risk. You avoid trouble by walking away. If a stranger says your other half has got a big ass, you probably wouldn't walk away. You probably wouldn't engage the stranger via dialogue either. For me and my personality, I wouldn't punch them in the face. This person could be drunk, they could be mentally ill, but you should confront them on it, I think personally. So you start to talk shit and curse a stranger regardless of the risk. Let's go with that. What would you do if a stranger spit on you or your significant other? Jeez, that is disrespectful. So you spit back and start a brawl. You try to talk sense to the stranger for doing the misdeed. It's not just a misdeed. You walk away and avoid trouble. There should be a fourth option here. If this was the red pill community, the alpha male community online, they'd all say, you gotta dump your girl as well because now she's got another man spit on her or something crazy like that. Okay, so what would I do? If somebody spat on my significant other, that's, pretty crazy. So, well, unless this person's got a frigging gun or a knife, I wouldn't walk away and avoid trouble. This person's beyond talking to because we've done quite a severe action there, to be honest with you. So that option's also out. I don't think I'd spit back, but I'd definitely get confrontational with this person. So let's click that one there. Okay, are you tough enough? Depends who you ask. I'm pretty disciplined compared to my friends, my family. I used to train with some MMA lads and some boxing lads as well. And some of my friends are in the military as well. So they are very tough. So in comparison to them, pro fighters and things, I don't think I'm that tough compared to them. So I'm going to tick maybe here because it depends who you're compared to. Would you run towards gunfire as a first responder? Yes. And option 1 is yes and kill every person you set your eyes on. Option 2 is yes, but I will make sure I take precautions to avoid being shot. Option 3 is no because I don't want to die. All right, so if you run towards gunfire as a first responder and kill everyone, you are no doubt getting fired and you are also going to jail as well. But I bet Dan wants me to click this answer. I bet he wants me to go to jail, all right? I can see your game, Dan. Okay, so I would say yes, but I will make sure I take precautions to avoid being shot. That is a sensible thing to do because in real life, guys, this isn't Call of Duty. You don't respawn, all right? Which would you rather be like? Zuckerberg. Does anybody like Zuckerberg? I've seen polls online where people rate their most hated billionaire, and Zuckerberg's always the top as well. Okay, so it wouldn't be Zuckerberg. Jocko, Dan Pena, Obama, Donald Trump. I would say Jocko. He lives a life of discipline. He's a strategist. He likes his exercises. When he hangs around on his podcast with his friends and just talks a bit of nonsense and talks some really good stuff as well, I would say Jocko. He seems to be the one with the least pressure who's also enjoying the life. Let's go with Jocko. Would you want your kids to be like you? Yes, I want them to be like me and follow my examples. I want them to be better than me, right? I want them to have the best in life, to not have the crutches I've had. Do you understand spare the rod and spoil the child and you implement it? Let's Google what's spare the rod and spoil the child. So spare the rod and spoil the child. If children are not physically punished when they do wrong, their personal development will suffer. BS, man. You can't just kick the shit out of your children and hope they'll do all right, okay? There's good research against that. Do you understand? So I'm going to say no. You are a hopeless case. You are a snowflake, and if you have kids, they are an irreversible risk. Come on, Dan, don't do me like that, man. Not in front of my subscribers anyway. I hope you guys don't think any less of me. But according to Dan Pena, I am an absolute hopeless case of being a snowflake. Take the test yourself. It's very cool. I don't know if there is a way to win that test, but let me know if I've got some hard MFs watching my videos that are not considered snowflakes by Dan. So everyone, that's my quick review of Dan Pena. He's obviously got a lot of money. He seems to scare the life out of everyone in the audience who haven't bought from him yet as part of a strategy to go viral. Not sure if this strategy is sustainable though, as we've seen with Tate, as we've seen with Dan Pena. And he also then funnels everyone into his mastermind using all these various things which are going to aggravate people. The snowflake test, using his authority, using his shock and awe tactics, using his militant screaming tactics, even for the people who are already bought into what he's doing. And it's unclear whether this is who he is as a person and he seems to be an unhinged grandpa, or if he is doing this deliberately to gain attention. But either way, it seems to be working for him. Again, not sure how sustainable this is going into the future. But I recommend you go and take that snowflake test. Hope you enjoyed this video. Give me a comment below. Let me know what other things you want me to cover. And then take it easy. See you in the next one, guys.